Hey everyone, good afternoon and welcome to this very special training webinar. I want to do a quick sound check and let me know if you guys can hear my voice loud and clear. Type in hello in the chat box and also let me know where you're calling in from. I always like to know where our partners are from all over the world. So hello from Indonesia, Costa Rica, Norway, Minnesota, Ireland, Cincinnati, British Columbia, Chicago, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Florida, a couple Floridas, New York, Chicago, California all the way, Panama City Beach, Portland, Oregon, a whole bunch more actually. I'm flying in. So welcome everybody to this very special training. My name is Kevin Z. I am founder and CEO of My Wi-Fi Networks. And I wanted to do this training presentation, number one, to recap a lot of the changes, a lot of the improvements that we've been doing to our platform, but also to open up a forum in which you can ask any questions you want, any pressing questions that are on your mind, even some things that you want me to train on. You can put some requests in at the end of today's call, but it'll really be like an open session where you can ask really whatever you want. So please, if you have any questions, hold them until the very end. I'm going to allow time for that, and we'll be going as long as we need to go. Any questions you have, we'll address at the very end. So welcome everyone. What I want to do is today's agenda. I'm first going to review a lot of the stuff that we talked about in the March 2017 update. For those of you who may or may not have seen the video, I did a video a couple days ago or last week about some of the new features we have in the system. And what that did is really just inform you. And what I want to do today is at the end of today's call, open up a session for us to talk about that. So I'm going to talk about each one of these features. Again, don't have to read them out. They're on the screen here. And then at the end, like I said, I'm going to open up a time for talking about what's next and also an Ask Me Anything. So in the last few months, we squashed lots of bugs, and for me, I am going to go through this section pretty quickly. I did do a full video, as I mentioned, it's in the members area, also available as a pop-up next time you log into the Wi-Fi area. You'll see that video, so make sure you take the time to watch that video. But this is a recap of that. We squashed lots of bugs. We also increased the idle timeout, so before users used to get kicked off after 5 minutes. This was intentional. We did this by design to save network space. And right now we extended the timeout to 20 minutes total. So if somebody's connected and they kind of leave their internet or go to the bathroom, for example, for longer than 5 minutes, up to 20 minutes, their session will stay active until it idle times out. And anything beyond that, if you do a session time that's less than that, obviously the session will end and it'll kick them off the Wi-Fi. They'll have to sign in again. We also fixed an Android bug, so please let us know if you're using Android phones, if you experience what you experience. But right now you will have Google, or you'll have an Android pop-up or Captive Portal pop-up right now on Android phones, or at least most Android phones. And I want to just stress that because with the update and fixing all of this, we did a couple things. So first of all, we delisted, or de-whitelisted, I should say, Google.com. So right now, if you open up your browser pre-authentication and you try to visit Google.com, it'll kick you right to a sign-in page. So we did this before. We had to whitelist Google because we had to authenticate. Now that we're no longer using that, we can now block it. So with there being more than 24,000 unique Android devices out there, I just want to preface this and say to a couple of people on the call that if you're trying out on different versions of Android phones, some Android operating systems allow you to turn on or turn off a Captive Portal Assistant. So if it's off, turn it on. If it's not working for you, obviously, you'd have to do that and change it. Other times, if you're trying to forcefully log out, or if you type in log off or log out in the toolbar to end your session forcefully, make sure you also close your Chrome browser, because there's a cookie there that Android leaves that if you try to authenticate again, the screen will stay white. So just as a caution to you, if you try to do that, now no user in a real world will ever go in and type in log out in the address bar to forcefully end the session. But just while you're testing it to know why that happens, make sure you also close, if on Android you click on the little tab icon and you can close, make sure you close the entire browser. And that's really what the experience is. Whenever you connect net new to a connection, it will always open up a new browser as a Captive Portal on Android. And an iPhone, there's a Captive Portal Assistant, which will pop up automatically. Okay, so this is going to work on almost all Android phones, but not all of them. We can't guarantee that. But to fix it, we had to make a tough choice. So we removed Google. For those of you who didn't see the announcement, we now removed Google as a login option, so you can no longer use it. And Google is already starting to end that. Here's the link. What I can do is share this link for you guys, for those who want it. In the chat box right now, so just give me 1 second, I'll do that. And those who want to read more about this can do so. But essentially what Google has done is they've now said that they have a WebKit OAuth, basically a way to authenticate users via Google. They're no longer allowing that for new apps that are created. And in the near future, they're going to actually end that altogether. So we said, you know what, we might as well take this away now, because right now we're not getting much for Google anyways. We might as well just use a normal email capture to capture the real valid email of that user versus Google. So we removed Google as a login option. If you haven't yet, go to your campaigns right now and remove it, because right now it will not collect data You also have to update your firmware to properly block this. It's very easy to go into the interface and update your firmware. So make sure you go do that and go to your campaigns as well and go to the enable Google and make sure that is off. Okay, we're going to removing that for everybody down the road, but for now I encourage you to go in there and turn it off on your own campaigns to make sure that users aren't using that versus a normal email login. We also removed Facebook check-in, and I want to be very clear here. Facebook is still a login option, okay? You can still use Facebook to log into the interface. It is the widely used. It's what we recommend. We pull back a lot of great data, and soon we're going to have the age range there and some other good Facebook data that's very valuable to have. So all we're talking about here is the Facebook check-in. Okay, this is what had people share items on their wall. This also was not our choice, okay? So Facebook changed their terms and conditions and their rules to disallow pre-populated and automated wall posts for apps. So it doesn't mean that we're taking away a Facebook sharing option forever. It means that right now we are just removing the Facebook check-in feature, and very soon we're going to be replacing this with a much more powerful Facebook marketing option. And this option is going to be including Facebook Messenger bots, different deeper integrations with Facebook that'll allow us to have a much more powerful and really a user-friendly experience at the end. In talking to a lot of clients and even people like myself, for example, if I went to connect to a Wi-Fi location and without very distinguished permission saying we are going to post on your wall, that would kind of piss me off. So what we're doing is that's probably what pissed a lot of people off, and that's why they complained to Facebook. That's probably why Facebook changed their rules. Okay, so keep in mind this is not a decision we made. This is just for the better usability of the client. We're going to be replacing this with a much more powerful marketing feature using Facebook, but not quite posting on somebody's wall, a more strategic and more one-to-one marketing piece directed to achieve specific objectives, I should say. And this will all make sense, trust me, when I talk to you guys about some of the new features we have. But right now, just know that we removed Facebook as a check-in option, but you can always still use Facebook as a login option. Okay, so to replace all these login changes, we also created email validation. This is very important because I've seen a lot of clients using email as an option, and the emails that are entered is like bob@bob.com or joe@joe.com. It's just total BS emails. So right now we are validating all emails in real time to actually call out on the domain and to see, number one, is it a valid SMTP server? And number two, is this like a garbage email? Has it been reported that this email just does not work or has been blacklisted? So in that respect, it won't work. It'll ask you to type in a valid email. So before we would only check for a valid email format, which is keyword at keyword dot something. So it would actually just make sure that it had the format of a valid email, but it wouldn't actually check the email. Now we're actually checking the validity of the email itself. So if somebody typed in some garbage junk like that, it's no longer going to work. So another selling point to your clients, whenever you're taking this to your clients and saying, hey, this is generating leads for you, you should also now always mention that there's an email validation tool that makes sure that the emails that people are typing in are actually valid, that they're not some garbage emails that it's going to be a sore spot in your list later. So huge update, I think, for the program and the platform. And this is an email validation preview. I already showed this. What I can do maybe is just open up the video that I had for this. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm going to open it up and share this video I created. I can also share this for those who want to use this for your clients, but really I recommend, I did this very easily using my iPhone and using my MacBook. So I can maybe do a little training course later and show you guys how to record your screen like this. But actually you just use QuickTime. You go into QuickTime and you plug in your phone via USB. So make sure you have your iPhone plugged into your MacBook and open up QuickTime and do screen recording. And at the bottom of the screen recording is going to ask you your source. Choose your source to be your iPhone screen. And then you don't need Wi-Fi to connect or stream your screen at all. It's actually going to all stream through the USB connection. And I did all of this right on my iPhone, really all on my screen. So just to show you guys the experience, I open up, I want to connect to a Wi-Fi platform. I find the custom SSID, I click on connect, I get the automatic pop-up. And in this case, I'm going to choose connect with email. So I'm going to agree to the terms, click connect with email. And as I showed before, if I type in, whatever, some crap, I click OK, connect, it's going to say enter a valid email. Even though it is valid email format, it's not going to accept it. So here also, it comes in handy if I'm typing in my email instead of a .com, I type in a .clm. That happens often. The letters are right next to each other. It also will not accept that. It has to make sure that it is a real valid email. and then that is captured, and then I get redirected. Okay, so that is a cool feature. Number one, I encourage you to do some short videos like that. If you're working on a big client, you can either send them the preview URL tool that we have in the interface, or you can record the experience just like I did there. It took me 2 minutes to do, and you can do that and share that video with your client. I guarantee you a much higher close rate because they'll be able to totally envision what the value is you're offering. On to the technical side, some updates that we made on the IP fix. Now, this 99% of you are not going to have to worry about this. For those of you who have ever had IP conflict issues, you'll be very happy to know that we fixed that. So if you ever use certain models of Verizon hardware, and also certain ISPs have their modems set to 192.168.1.1, that would conflict with our hotspots, our social hotspots, SH100 specifically, and all some of the old TP-Link firmwares. So that caused an IP conflict. So we changed all of our default firmwares, and our new update now has them as 9.9.1. You won't have to change your devices at all. If you already have devices set up in the field, don't worry, you can update your firmware. You don't have to do a thing. Now, if you cannot get into your device for some reason, if you can't get this is how you update your firmware. So you click firmware upgrade. You can see there if your model is required. You click there and you basically update it automatically. Now, if for some reason you can't do that, your device cannot connect, and there's an IP conflict, and you can't get another connection, you only have, let's say, a Verizon or an IP blocked or IP conflicted router or modem, what you would do is this. You can always contact support, please, because we have very specific rules and instructions how to do this. You can first visit support.mywifi.io. And I just want to show this to you. We have a lot of good info here. So if I went over here and I searched for whatever I want, I would find it. So let's say it was IP conflict. I find it here. Now, the reason I say contact support is we don't share the root password publicly on our support site. We can give that to you, obviously, if you want to update it yourself. But let us know because we can help you get those devices online. And I just showed that new support site that we have there. And I want to challenge everyone on the call here. We're actually going to be running a little contest. For those of you who get more than 10 devices online in the next few weeks, we're going to enter you into a draw to win some private time with me. So you're going to have an hour of consulting with me, and we're also going to give you a nice discount on the store and potentially also a free package deal depending on what you'll talk to me and you work very closely with me. We're going to help you grow your business. I think everyone who has more than 10 active devices will be into that special group. We'll create a Slack channel, a private channel in the Slack group for that. And challenge is on because I think really there's no reason why you shouldn't have more devices, more than 10, if you're taking this seriously as a business. So I encourage you to do that. If you do, you'll be entered into a special VIP channel, time with me specifically, and also access to me whenever you want in that Slack group. Okay, so that's the support site. I just actually want to show you more about the support site over here. So if you go to the top, you're going to go down to devices and hardware. We have our list of supported devices here, everything listed out. I just also want to mention that if anyone on the call has a C7, a TP-Link C7 router that has been blocked, there's an 18005 error that comes up. Some of you may get this error, and I'm just going to search for it here. So if any of you get this error that says 18005 error and you have an incompatible device, it's specifically a C7, we have an experimental workaround, hypothetically, to maybe allow you to use those C7s again. But we first want to make sure that that it works great on everyone's. It works here so far, so we just want to check. If you guys do have any C7 routers, older V2 routers, like sorry, not the older ones, but the new ones that are blocked with the 18005 error, please let us know and we'll do our best to help get those online. Otherwise, we recommend to always buy the devices from our store. The SH100 is a great device to use. Otherwise, you can use this device. We also have some other low-cost devices coming out very soon. I don't want to mention names or models or anything, but we are working on some additional devices that you can buy from Best Buy or Amazon that are low cost that you can use and flash and bring to your clients. Now, we don't recommend them for any large installs. These are very much for like very hyper small local business installs where you really want to bargain hunt on the hardware. And I always say that because keep in mind, guys, when you're selling this, looking at a price of like let's say $79 for an SH100 device, a great device. There's no reason why you would ever want a device that costs less than that because your client's paying for it. So don't think of these devices as costs that are sunk costs to you. Think about it that these are costs that you're passing on ultimately to your client. You're going to charge your client an installation fee. To get a good piece of hardware in there is not going to come necessarily cheap. You won't get it for $20. Now, bear in mind, some of the hardware that we're going to be building firmwares for is not amazing hardware. It's just cost effective. It's what you guys are looking for. But at the end, I'm going to show you in a minute why it doesn't always make sense to buy the cheapest hardware. Why it does make sense to sometimes invest in better hardware, invest in cloud networks, invest in mesh networks, and build a scalable network, because that's where the money is. They're not necessarily the one-off, the two-off. They're in building larger installs and larger plays. So on our support site, we have a lot of information about that, our new devices, supported devices. Also keep in mind, we have all of our new cloud integrations. Like I mentioned, I don't want to jump the gun here. Let me present them, show them to you, and then I'm going to actually show you how easy they are to set up directly in the system here. So the new support site, check it out if you haven't yet. Now, cloud controllers, all the rage, I think, is something you should be using. They're only available to agency partners now. And I want to preface this. I don't want to ruin a little announcement that I had for you at the very end, but we're going to be increasing our prices very soon. I think that everything in the platform is very cost effective, and I think there's only so far we can keep the prices at where they currently are. So I just want to preface this by saying that if you are on your current price plan, not to worry, you will be locked in. So if we do increase our prices for the agency or the enterprise plans, whatever you're currently paying for the agency or enterprise plan will be the price you will pay as long as you want. So we won't forcefully raise the price on you if you're locked into a plan. But if you're not on an agency plan right now, and when we do raise the price, unfortunately you'll have to pay the new price. You'll never have to get to pay the price you're paying right now. So just want to say that that's how the software works. A lot of software companies don't even announce things like that. They just, hey, effective today, this is the new price model. But I'm just giving you advance that we are going to be raising our prices, and anyone that's currently locked into a current price plan now will stay in that price plan for whatever the plan is offering currently. We won't change that on you. But later, if you decide to change your plan after we make the announcement, then you'll be stuck paying what the new price plan is. All right, just wanted to mention that because right now we are offering Cloud Controller access to all of our agency partners and higher. So Cloud Controllers, again, are designed to help you quickly scale and set up for anything from small to super large events. We have a lot of clients talking to us about hotels, about, hey, I got a 15-floor hotel, or I have a small motel, or I have a junior AAA hockey arena with 3,000 seats. What do I do? What hardware do I need? So before it became a little bit difficult. Now we have direct integrations with quality, some of the best hardware in the world, directly integrated with our system, so you won't have to look very far in what to use. So all of this is securely managed from the cloud with incredible control. So you never have to go on site. Once you set it up and you walk away, you can manage everything directly from the internet. No need to do custom firmware or custom flashing because we directly integrate with Cisco and with OpenMesh and with Ubiquiti, so that you don't have to go to every device and plug it in and wait or do anything. You just plug in directly to an off-the-shelf solution. And you can manage all of these networks directly from a smartphone app. So if you wanted to check current users online, current bandwidth, current health of the system, is it online, offline, what the deal is, what the speed of the internet is, all that stuff, you can check all of this out directly from your smartphone. So it becomes very easy to manage these networks. So the first one that we integrated with was UniFi, the cloud controller. As I mentioned previously, and every time I talk about UniFi, if you've never done this before, don't start learning about it. And I'm just saying this just out of my respect for your business and time. Don't spend time learning something that you may not be passionate about or may not be an expert on. Find an expert to do it for you. They'll do it a lot faster, and it'll allow you to focus on marketing and sales. You can't do everything as a small business owner. I am a small business owner. I try. I can't do it all. I'm telling you from experience. You have to pick and choose your battles. You have to make sure that you, let's say, focus on sales and marketing. Let someone else handle with the tech. So if you're not a tech guy, if you're not, let's say, an ISP, or don't have your own tech solutions company, and you're just a marketer, just a marketer, but you're focusing on marketing, then you want to find a partner to do something like this. It doesn't mean a full-time gig. Doesn't mean giving equity. It means just finding somebody who is a contractor who you can call on when you need them and pay an hourly rate, like straight up, and see if they can help you with this. But a couple options. So first, UniFi Cloud Controller integration. You can set it up in a few minutes. What this allows is you to have a switch on site that plugs into a bunch of different access points. And then you have the on-site, which is how it used to be. But now with the internet, you now have an off-site cloud controller. So what we do is you can log into this off-site cloud controller from anywhere in the world. Through the internet, it goes and talks to this internal network that's set up at the location. If anything happens or goes wrong, you get notified in real time. Before, you had to only see it. It was only available on-site. Now it's available off-site. So we've integrated with this. So when we talk about our integration, we plug in directly into this offsite controller. So definitely that's what you guys should be checking out if you're thinking about this kind of stuff. But like I said, don't be setting this up yourself. What I really recommend is if a client uses UniFi already, if you're targeting, let's say you're reaching out to clients who already have a Wi-Fi network, your goal now is not necessarily replacing that. It's saying, hey, what do you use? If they use UniFi, say, great, I have a solution for UniFi. If they use Meraki, I'll talk about it in a second, Cisco Meraki, then you layer on that. You don't really have to go in there selling hardware anymore. You don't have to go in there with your own devices and figure out where the devices should go or anything like this. Go in there as a pure layered add-on as a marketing service. So change your game in a way. Like instead of focusing on going to a local business, for example, and telling them to drop in your own hardware, focus on how many people have open mesh networks or how many people have Meraki networks in your area and how many of them can use a solution like this layered on. So it becomes a little bit different, a little bigger, if you get it, right? Because it's obviously bigger hardware, bigger installs, bigger contract size. So also Cisco Meraki, we're happy to say that we now directly integrate with Cisco. So same kind of thing. It's all managed in the cloud at any location, and many of them do use Meraki right now. You can plug in seamlessly. Let me just show you where this is. So inside our support site and devices and hardware, you can go right down to Cisco Meraki Cloud integration. And you guys can see how easy this is, and Meraki is one of those things that it is fairly easy to do. There's no hosting your own controller. The thing with UniFi is that you have to host your own cloud controller. With Meraki, they host it for you. With OpenMesh, they host it for you. So this becomes very easy. It's just if you follow these instructions, you can set it up super simple. So you have your Meraki, you plug and play, you set it all up. You go to SSID, you choose a splash page, you choose to access control. You keep it open with no encryption so people can just connect to it. You get authenticated via click-through. You drop in your whitelist, which is basically a list of all the domains that we keep open so that we can authenticate different social networks and that we can pull in the data and the content that we need to open the page. Once you're done, you go to splash page. You set up your splash page. You provide a URL where people are redirected to. So you set this as your portal URL. So if it's your white label or it's ours, you plug in this URL right in there. And then you add the device in our system. You go add a device, same as you do a current device. You add a device, but this time from the drop-down, you select Meraki Cloud, and you type in the MAC addresses of the access points, the Meraki access points you're adding in. You can add more than one. So if you have like a list of 20, you just copy and paste that list of 20, you click on complete, and that's it. You're done. The coolest thing about this is that you don't even need to be on site to do this. You can get somebody who has a Meraki system set up, you can get them on a call and be like, hey, let me just walk you through something. I've set up a campaign for you. Let's get on a screen share. Let me walk you through how to set this up. Just set up a little separate network on your main one, set up another SSID, go through the steps with me or with you, and basically go through it and set it up. You can show them in real time how it works. It's much easier to sell this as a service when it's done like that. Now, again, you got to be agency plan or higher, soon to be enterprise or higher, but if you lock in now for agency, we'll let you use all these integrations on agency level versus enterprise level. Okay, so that being said, this is the Meraki Cloud integration, really easy to do. When you set all that up, find out more, you can go to meraki.cisco.com, or hold on, actually, if you wait for this, if you want to be a Cisco Meraki partner, let me know because I can get you a better deal than they offer publicly. Just send me a note and I can send you a special link to get a free hotspot for Meraki if you are interested in that. So keep in mind to please message me directly. Just go right to the chat, click on the little bubble, say, hey, I'm interested in a free Meraki hotspot, and I can do my best to get a link for you to get you a free Meraki hotspot. But like I mentioned, don't be looking at these kind of things if you don't have at least 5 or 10 hotspots set up. You should at least have some of the local businesses set up in your area before you start thinking about bigger plays like Meraki. But if you are talking about getting some great presence analytics, and I don't want to talk about that too much today, it's kind of what we have planned next in our system. But to be able to scan and analyze how many people walk by a location, how many people come in, how many people leave, regardless of whether they connect to Wi-Fi, and then count them as a conversion when they actually connect to your Wi-Fi campaign. So it becomes a completely enriched marketing pitch where you're now doing presence analytics and giving them heat maps of their location versus just having them connect to Wi-Fi. It's great value in that, but obviously the value is tremendously increased by adding a layer of presence analytics. And as mentioned, all this will be enabled for agency plan or higher, soon to be enterprise, as we grow our integration directly with Cisco. But please do message me if you are interested in Meraki. Just send me a note and be like, I'm interested in Meraki, and I'll get you that link directly. Don't message me in here. Go to our support site, and I can send you a custom link directly there. All right, we also integrated with OpenMesh, and OpenMesh is another great cloud system. Now, they're much cheaper than Cisco. Cisco, I just want to mention, Meraki is pretty expensive. Not only do you have to pay for the hardware, which is expensive up front, but you also have to pay a licensing fee. So every year you have to pay them just to keep your thing plugged in and turned on. So that's one thing I don't like about Meraki, but the quality of the hardware and the network and everything is like top notch at Cisco. It's great. So we recommend that as like a first, a go-to if price is not an issue and your client's paying for it, then definitely go with Meraki. But if you are looking for a more cost-effective solution that's also pretty good, not quite Meraki level good, but pretty good, we look at OpenMesh. Now we have a direct integration with the CloudTrax controller. This is also free to use. We are going to be embedding this directly into our system in the near future. So I wouldn't jump to this right away. I would still focus on selling devices if you haven't yet. And if you've moved past your 10 devices, you're into the kind of the VIP group with me at least. But you can also then look at things like this, and then we can help you and give you even early access to our integration with them if you are interested. But this is a great place, OpenMesh as well, to show you how easy it is to plug this in. You can actually just go to openmesh.com and find out more about their hardware and CloudTrax solution here. But directly in our system, inside Cloud Controller integrations, if you do have an OpenMesh hardware, or you are working with somebody who has an OpenMesh network, you can go through these instructions. Really simple. Same thing, add a device. This time you choose an OpenMesh device. You type in the MAC address of the router, basically the controller that you're using. You get outputted a NAS ID. Then you go to the CloudTrax controller. You simply go to the SSID section. You just follow the instructions here. Have things on, have things off. Paste, copy, paste thing, really super simple. And then once you're done, you plug in your whitelist, same kind of thing, and you are all good to go. So this is, again, not using any additional hardware. This is using existing hardware, existing plugged-in stuff. Tons of people using this already. It's not like you're trying to convince somebody to use and adopt a piece of hardware. You're just getting them to adopt your software to use as a layer, as a marketing layer to what they have set up already. So this is the CloudTrax integration. This is OpenMesh, and you can find out more about their access points in the store here and more about the solutions. If you're thinking about bulk orders with OpenMesh, let me know because I can get you a discounted wholesale rate. And if you're thinking about tens or hundreds of hotspots, let me know because I can get you a special price on that. If it's just one off, two off, you can just order directly from the OpenMesh store and get that, plug it into your CloudTrax controller, add the CloudTrax controller to our system if you're agency or higher, and you're off to the races using this as a solution. So this is very scalable to use and a great thing to use if you have a client, like I said, who's like a large multi-level shopping mall or location, like big bar venue, big patio outside, big arena, things like that. You can definitely use this kind of hardware. And that's the hardware there. They have 6 options. We have one of these, a couple of these in the office. They perform okay. Like I said, Meraki's better, but it's a great mid-range solution to use. And last but not least, our Cradlepoint devices. Our Cradlepoint integration works with 4G Cradlepoint devices. These, like I said, are expensive. They use data, so these are like 4G Verizon data plans, so they are very expensive, but they're great for lead gen, where you're setting this up and you have like let's say a 1 or 2 minute session window where you just want somebody to connect, log in, thank you for connecting, and then boot them off. You can do that in this system using this on 4G pretty effectively. So this, I don't have to go through the whole thing. It's a little bit more pages, but it's all WYSIWYG. You don't have to do any coding. You just go into the interface, you copy the exact instructions that we give you to set things up, and they're all seamless, no firmware, no updating, anything required. This is all using 4G stuff, pretty powerful things. But things like this, again, are talking to people who already have Cradlepoint hardware. They're using it already. It's calling them up and layering our software on to work with that kind of stuff. So this is all wireless. Really, if you want to go wireless, you go Cradlepoint. If you want to go mid-range on a budget, you go to OpenMesh. If you want to go high-end, you go Meraki. And also Ubiquiti would probably be in the middle range as well. It's just a little bit more difficult because you got to host your own cloud controller. So if you have anyone who's using Ubiquiti, and a lot of hotels and places already do use them, they are pretty big. Public company, they're huge actually. You need to just work with them. Don't go there installing new hardware. Just work with the existing hardware that's already on site. So all of this stuff, as I mentioned, is available now for agency partners, and if you do lock into the agency plan, we will honor the price point as we raise our prices moving forward. You'll also be invited to a very special Slack channel in the Slack group. If you have more than 10 active devices, basically just let me know, and I'll be able to confirm that. go into your interface. Once you have 10 that are green, 10 green dots, you're into a very private channel that you don't even see listed there, where you have direct access to me, and we can work together, and I can help you build your business. But definitely, that's the little contest. When am I raising prices? I would be safe to say it's happening within the week. We're going to be changing things around, and make sure you lock in your plans before that happens. That being said, upcoming releases, we have our new analytics dashboard. We have a whole new way of showing you some stats, a new contact manager. You'll be able to see in real time who's connected. You'll be able to filter this list and, let's say, show, I want to see all men that connected last week. Very easily show that list in real time with rich data. So you'll be able to see at a glance what devices they use, what their age range is, what their gender is, if that information is available. All this stuff available in a really nice to use chart, really user friendly, really pretty, I would say, if I can use that word for something. But it's going to be great, different than what we have right now. And our new campaign builder, we're also working on to make it seamless and more logical to create campaigns. Right now, when you're creating a campaign, I'll be honest, it's not the most logical thing. When you're setting things up, it all works, it's all there, but you got to kind of jump around. So we're making things much more user friendly, that when you're setting this up, it's going to happen really seamlessly and really intuitively as you're building these campaigns. This will work both for you and for your clients. We're also adding a new login flow, different positioning of where the like box sits right now. So we're going to be merging the like box and the thank you page as a post-login confirmation page. And then you'll have your redirect option happening after that. That'll go to either a website URL, an app URL, or a deep link. And I'll tell you all about this cool deep link option we're working on very soon. I hope to feature this for you in the next week or so. Next few weeks or so, but definitely a very cool new engagement feature that we're installing and using on our hotspot logins. Also a new TripAdvisor API integration, a whole new redesigned automation tool, all integrated with Zapier, so an improved Zapier integration through automation, and all other suggestions from the Facebook list. So we look at everything you vote in the Facebook group. Let me just pull this up right now and show you where this is, because I do encourage you to be active inside this Facebook group. Please let us know. We want to hear, number one, how I can help you. I have a couple of polls and surveys. If you scroll down over here, you can see them. Also look at some of the other polls and surveys we had. Any improvements? This is Zupi. Big shout out to Fabio. He's crushing it. He's a hustler right there. You guys should look up to him and follow what he's doing. He's doing some good things. Also, here's some announcements that we have, but we have a little poll that I had listed somewhere over here. A lot of posts over here, but here we go. No, actually, another one. Anyways, it's somewhere over here where I ask you to request some things. Please make sure that you request them, because if we don't know what you're thinking, we can't do it. And it's not, just want to throw this out there that whatever you request doesn't mean we're going to do it. It's just let us know where we can improve, and we'll do our best to make sure we can do that. All right, so new upcoming releases, more live training coming soon. All these topics will be distinguished by you. You got to let me know what you want me to talk about. We can do some other demos. Obviously, once we come up with the new features, we'll be going through those in detail. But please let us know what we can do to help you. That's what we'll plan our training on. If you want to use Enterprise, if you want to go Meraki or do the Enterprise networks, yes, you'd have to be on an Enterprise plan to use all those. So got some requests about some other hardware options, some cheap options. We are working on some other hardware options from, buy off the shelf from Amazon or Best Buy. But right now the options are using the SH100 devices, shipped pretty quick. Like we get them to you in 2 business days. Your client's covering the cost. $79 currently. We might rock a sale on that pretty soon, but not really. I mean, I think the cost is pretty dead on with what the value is. But yes, we are having some other cost-effective hardware options, or if you want to use cloud, agency or hire ends up being better in the long run for you. Yeah, question about agency. Yeah, agency is going to work for our cloud options right now. When we change things, they won't anymore. But if you lock into an agency plan now, you will be able to use the cloud controllers with that price plan. Now you will be capped. It's not unlimited. It's not necessarily unlimited for the cloud controllers. It's based on a certain number of, it's 100,000 uniques a month. So 100,000 unique users a month on the agency plan is what you get to be able to use that. Agency, for those who are asking, is $297 a month currently. Got some questions about the Google sign-in methods with OAuth 2.0. Well, Brian, it's the same thing. They're actually discontinuing that method for captive portal logins. That's why we're taking it away. The enterprise plan, those are asking, is $597 a month. It gives you access to 250,000 users per month. Question about how is the Archer C7 error displayed? You'll actually get a pop-up in the interface being like error 18005, 18005. It's a certain code that is blocked for US-based routers. US-based TP-Link are starting to block the open source stuff that we're using, the OpenWRT and our firmware. So we have a workaround on that. If you have one of those errors or problems, let us know. Otherwise, we recommend using our hardware or other hardware. If you have hotels, so here's a big thing. If you have hotels or areas that are using like Meraki or OpenMesh, you don't have to get them to change anything. You just have to get them to adopt our software layered onto their hardware. That's why I'd say it's a little bit of a different sale, because this sale allows you to not sell them hardware anymore. You're selling a solution for their hardware. So it becomes great, and tell them to test it out on a certain day, certain time, get those results, and then sign up for a longer-term contract. All right, yeah, and if you have any questions about getting your first site up and live, like Mike, let us know. Just come into the chat. We'll do our best to help get you up and running. Likely, I'll tell you now, most problem comes down to human error or setup of a controller, Unified Cloud Controller, for example, not incorrectly. It's just a matter of double checking the instructions, and then we'll be more than happy to help you if there's a problem on your end. We'd love to help you get it all worked out. From a return user standpoint, we're also working on a MAC address identification return little module. So if you do come back with the same phone and recognize that you're on the same device, the same person, we are going to be like, hey, are you John? Welcome back. So it's going to know that who you are, and you won't have to log in again. So that's coming down the road. That's going to handle the multiple email logins and return users very well. There's a lot of resources on Meraki and UniFi in our support site, and also on their homepages, on their actual websites. There's lots of good stuff on their end. We are going to be having deeper integration with MobiPunch. Yes, right now you can use it with Zapier, but we are going to be merging the two softwares down the road, so you will be able to use it directly within the system. Facebook group is still facebook.com/groups/my Wi-Fi members, I believe. Why did I not know this group off by heart? Hold on. Yeah, it's my Wi-Fi members. Sorry, I double take there. For those of you who are not in this group, few of you who are not, it's facebook.com/groups/my Wi-Fi networks/my Wi-Fi members. Sorry. Got questions about OpenMesh and other cloud control systems allowed to create branded splash pages for Captive Portal. It's really literally, it's like comparing, it's like comparing a one-page raw HTML in Dreamweaver to ClickFunnels. Alan had a great question. Roughly what percentage of the logins were Google? Because yes, we did remove Google as a login option. It was 4.7%. of all of our logins were Google. So looking at that, I didn't see it being a very big loss in the system. It wasn't like Facebook or email or something. It was less than 5% of all logins combined across all users using our platform ever, but less than 5% were Google. So removing that is a good option. Question about a delay like 18 hours with sending the auto email. Yeah, you can do that on your end. If you plug in Zapier or any of the autoresponder options to an external source, you can do it longer. We actually are planning to revamp our marketing center, like email automation. So we will allow you to do delays longer than what we have now. But if you want that kind of delay now, you can go to Zapier or those kind of integrations. If you're having issues sending a PM on Facebook to me, I'm not sure why, but you can always send me a message in the support chat. Congrats, Mike, and congrats to some others who say you've upgraded to an agency plan if you want to lock in those savings. I'm just giving you guys the first heads up. We're going to do a huge formal announcement later, giving you a timeline, a deadline in which to upgrade your accounts, and lock into the new pricing, or else, too little, too late. You can always upgrade later. I want to mention it just might be a different package. Question about pricing models and stuff like that. We'll talk about that later, but really we have a lot of recommended options here. When you start talking about larger installs, what I like to do, and I'll kind of share this little Excel file with you, or Google Sheets equation tool, where you figure out your baseline cost. Let's say it's $500 per client minimum setup, and then it's $100 per location per month, or per access point per month. And you basically work out the numbers, and you tell them, hey, how many locations do you have, how many access points you have. You type in those numbers and it spits out what you should charge. Like I said, 50, $100 per access point per month is a good number. You figure a place large enough to require 6 access points probably has a larger place to cover, probably make more money because it's rent with a larger area. So $600 a month is a pretty good price if you're doing $100 per access point per month. And you get all those included through us with a cap on traffic, not on access points. So it works very well. Richard, no, we're not going to put any little avatars or widgets from affiliate tools. That is a very cheesy kind of plugin to use. Don't really use that kind of stuff, nor should you. Internet speed is terrible in certain areas. Speed is a definite factor in good user experience. If the internet is slow, people try to connect, it takes time to log in. We recommend you obviously getting a fast as possible internet connection to make sure people are happy. For restaurants, bar setups, and monthly, all depends. Depends on how much work you're doing up front. What I like to do is instead of a setup fee, you waive a setup fee. You have it down there. Let's say it's $1,000 setup fee and $200 a month. You tell them, look, I'm going to give you a great deal today. We're going to waive the setup fee. If you sign up for the year, you pay me up front for the year $2,400, and that's $200 a month, and you'll save $1,000 on the setup fee. And if you sign today, that's your deal. And that's what I usually recommend to do versus doing like a setup and then month to month. Do it more of like a packaged price. Works better that way. Yeah, the pricing spreadsheet, all that stuff, I'll share in my private group. We have 10 or more locations on green. I'll share that with the VIP users first. We do have, we are planning to offer reseller plans, and actually we are also going to be creating what we're calling a master white label plan, which will be in excess of $1,000 a month, etc. It's going to be a different, totally different price plan, but it'll allow you to spin up your own white labels. So if you are interested in that, at that price range, also please let me know. We are also changing the terms of service button. Yes, we're going to make it much easier to use. I get that question all the time, and it bothers me too. What I mean by spin up your own white labels, I mean allowing to create accounts that they can also white label brand their login page and their platform with their logo themselves, so that it's like creating another layer between you and the end user. Those plans are starting at $1,000 a month. All right, any other questions? I'm going to be doing this more often. I want to mention in the Facebook group, hopefully on Facebook Live video, a little easier than behind a desk here. I wanted to do a little bit more presentation format and show you some things. I don't even think I'm going to log into the platform today. I thought about it, but I can't. I kind of want to wait until I show you guys some more cool things. But yeah, definitely log in if you haven't in a while. Get into your platform and click around. You're probably going to see a lot of things that are new, that aren't necessarily new to this week, but they're new to you with how things are going. So things are great on the platform. You can see this device here is online. I can hop right into this section over here. I can see the users that were using it. 2 male users here, no one currently. That's a landing page. It's right next to my desk here, in all honesty. This is the online version. You see your bandwidth session, all this stuff. So everything's here. We are going to be rebuilding this whole campaign tool. So this whole builder is going to change. Things are going to be a little bit more structured. You're going to have your branding section. You're going to have your login section. You're going to have your post login section and your redirect section. So all these elements are going to be nicely laid out. And we're also going to be replacing this chart over here. So actually all this analytics and charts, we have new analytics coming. We also have a new social users list coming. So this socials table is going to be a completely revamped, full with cool filters and real-time updates and cool funky things. And last but not least, all of this is going to be put into a new type of user interface where you'll be able to sell this directly to your clients on that master white label. They'll log in, manage their own stuff, and it'll be super easy to use. Those plans, like I said, are starting a little bit more per month, but you're going to see some amazing value with what they have to offer. We have more information about how to add the retargeting scripts in our support site. And the ad server, we actually did a video overview previously of the ad server, an entire walkthrough of how to set up your ads, how to upload your ads, a whole walkthrough of that. We'll be sure to include that. We'll actually pop those videos into the members area separately. But if you go into the support site separately. If you go into the members area and you view the tutorials, go down to ad server and we do a whole walkthrough of the ad server there. Just going to make a note to add the ad server videos to support. All right, well, thank you guys for joining this training session. More to come on some of the other things I talked about, the master white label, the new features, the new functionality. I'm also going to announce, perhaps based on your interest levels, I'm going to check my Facebook and see how many of you are interested in the VIP stuff, where it's more like an upfront quarterly charge on your bill, where I just really want to work with partners who are serious about building their business. And if you're not serious about building your business, you shouldn't be here. So that being said, thank you to all of you for your interest and your efforts. Look forward to chatting with you soon. If you cannot message me on Facebook directly, send me a message on the chat support on the bottom right-hand side of your interface. You can chat with me anytime. Just to be clear where that is, it's right here. You click on that bubble, click on New Conversation, and type in whatever you want. Say, hey, Kevin, blah, 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 and I will be sure to read it, even though you won't be saying blah, blah, blah. All right, thank you guys for joining as well. Thank you all who are watching this live. Also, those who are watching the replay, thank you too. And we'll be talking to you soon on the Facebook group and online. Take care, everyone. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.